What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy L, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Now listen, y'all already know. Those of you guys, I can't automatically assume. Let me move this out of the way. I can't automatically assume that everybody knows how I am about Megalodon, but for the majority of the family, the TMG fam, the family, y'all know how I am about Megalodon. He's out there. I'm not gonna be the one that finds him, but I know he's out there and he's gonna pop up one day, man. And everybody's gonna know, and I'm gonna be like, I told y'all he was out there. But anyway, this video, to which I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, all right. It says 15 sea monsters that are scarier than Megalodon. I gotta call BS on that. Seriously, but we're gonna see if it's any one of these 15 can kind of change my mind, even though I'm completely biased. You know what I mean? That's how much I like Megalodon. I'm biased that I don't think none of these 15 could be even remotely close to being scarier than Megalodon. But for the sake of the video, we're gonna give it a shot and see. All right? If you're new to the channel, man, hit the subscribe button, join the fam, all that good stuff. Here we go.
We really didn't think that anything could be scarier than a Megalodon, and it...
Right there, that should, the opening statement, that should be the end of the video right there. That should be the end of the video. But we're gonna keep going.
Extinct species of shark. But as it turns out, there are plenty of other sea monsters that could terrify you even more.
And here it goes. Frightening if you're a shrimp.
As if we needed another reason to not swim in the sea. From a sea-dwelling reptile to a fish-splitting worm, here are 15 sea monsters that are scarier than Megalodon. Number 15. Titanoboa. We don't really fancy living in the time period of 60 million years ago. Not only did they not have the internet back then, but they also had giant snakes.
So just based on the size, we're looking at some...
And giant snakes have big appetites. The Titanoboa, which thankfully is now extinct, lived in northeastern Colombia around 60 million years ago. They weighed around 2,500 pounds, grew to about 42 feet long, and thrived in the middle to late Paleocene epoch after the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event. Titanoboa are the largest snakes ever discovered, and they lived in the tropical forests of South America. Hold on, if the snake lived on land, then how is it a sea monster? Well, they lived around coastal swamp areas, and there were extensive river networks that flowed through these. And because of its...
Where did y'all first learn about like boas or big anacondas or different like things like that? My first experience was the Anaconda movie. Ever since then, I've been like, man, bump the rainforest, South America, different places. Like, I don't even want to go out there. Because we, quote unquote, say things are extinct sometimes that aren't, bro, until we find them again. I'm not playing. That's crazy that snake was that big. 2,000 pounds, fam. 2,000 pounds. Now, I'm not going to say that's scarier than Megalodon, but I put it up there, bro. Megalodon here, it's about right here. I put it up there. I don't play with snakes, bro.
Size and lack of legs, it did spend most of its time in the water. So not only would you have had to fear the Titanoboa on land, but in the water too. See? No wonder we'd prefer them to be extinct. There would be nowhere to escape from these absolutely huge beasts. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or Slenderman will come from under your bed while you're sleeping. Number 14. Helicoprion. It can be scary enough operating woodworking equipment like a buzzsaw for the first time. But imagine if that buzzsaw was attached to a 39-foot shark. It would be the animal of your nightmares. The Helicoprion might not sound like a real animal, but it once was, and it is far scarier than the Megalodon. Helicoprions, while shark-like in appearance, were a type of fish from around 290 million years ago. For several decades, researchers were finding spiral-like clusters of teeth called tooth whorls.
We have spirals that go up over 2.5 feet in diameter.
But had no idea how they were positioned on the body of the Helicoprion. They knew that with the tooth whorl measuring around 18 to 24 inches, that it would belong to an animal of about 39 feet, but they still didn't know where it would sit. Several sketches of this shark-like animal were created over the years, some even showing the teeth on its tail and head. Eventually, they decided that it was positioned in the mouth like a buzzsaw. Teeth would move through the tooth whorl as they grew, and new teeth were continuously pushing out old ones. So not only would you be fighting for your life against a nearly 40-foot sea monster, but one that could saw you to pieces. Yeah, we're not sorry this one's extinct, that's for sure. Number 13. Leviathan. We're pleased to announce that this sea monster, even though it is far scarier than the Megalodon, is biblical, so there's no need for any alarm.
See, now y'all getting carried away. Y'all getting carried away.
The Leviathan was a primordial sea serpent that was a symbol of God's power of creation. A description of the Leviathan is of a multi-headed sea serpent that God kills and gives as food to the Hebrews in the wilderness. It's mentioned in the Old Testament in Psalm 74:14. In Isaiah 27:1, the Leviathan is a serpent that is seen to represent Israel's enemies. Traditionally, references to Leviathan are as a dragon-like creature. However, it has also been used to describe sea monsters as well. You may also recognize Leviathan from the Book of Job, which speaks of a primeval monster that the god Baal-Hadad defeats. It doesn't matter where you read or hear about the Leviathan, though. There's one thing for sure. It is terrifying. From its massive size and frightening features to its power and many heads, there could be nothing more awful to come across in the ocean. So if this existed today, you can only imagine that it would be more terrifying than the Megalodon.
And I feel like not with this creature here, but I just feel like in general, with the seas being a lot more calm, you don't have many people out there on boats as much. The cruises are cut back. Different things are, you know what I mean, limited as far as being in the sea. And I feel like when it calms down like that, and you don't have as much traffic and different things, we're gonna start to see an influx of new species that were otherwise, you know what I mean, staying away from the activities in the water. You're gonna start seeing a lot more stuff come up, man. Watch what I tell you.
Number 12. Leviathan melvillei. The Leviathan melvillei gets the first part of its name from the biblical sea monster Leviathan. The second part, though, comes from Herman Melville, the author of the book Moby Dick, which talks of an albino bull sperm whale. The Leviathan melvillei is an extinct sperm whale that is thought to have lived between 9.9 and 8.9 million years ago. While much of what is known about this whale is from the area surrounding Peru, there have also been teeth found in South Africa, Argentina, Australia, and Chile. It may have even been present throughout the southern hemisphere. People don't tend to be as scared by the idea of a whale as they are a shark. But that doesn't mean this one wasn't scary. It was an apex predator, and its main diet consisted of seals, whales, and other large animals. It had giant enamel-coated teeth on the upper and lower part of the jaw, and it had a few adaptations that made it suitable for chowing down on large prey. Given the size of the skull, scientists have also been able to figure out that this whale could swallow a human whole. Out of all tetrapods, it had the largest bite, and the fact that it had a wide and short snout meant that it could bite with far more force through its front teeth, too. Number 11. Big fin squid. The big fin squid, also known as the long arm squid, is a cephalopod that is very rarely seen.
And it turned out to be one of the arms of this gigantic squid.
And given how weird it looks, we're sure that most people will be happy about that. They're around 26 feet long with pulsating fins and elbowed tentacles. They live in the dark depths of the ocean, and not a lot is known about them due to how rarely seen they are. Scientists believe they eat by dragging their tentacles along the sea floor, but they may also use their arms in a kind of trapping technique to get zooplankton. The first record of a sighting was back in 1907, and then again in 1956. However, the first visual recording of them wasn't until 1988. The crew from the submersible Naudil discovered one at 15,353 feet below the ocean surface off the coast of northern Brazil. Then in 1998, the submersible called Shinkai 6500 spotted one in the Indian Ocean at 7,680 feet. Given their terrifyingly long arms and tentacles, and how they lurk in the dark depths of the ocean, the big fin squid can't help but send a shiver up your spine. Number 10.
Imagine it wrapping around and squeezing you too.
Liopleurodon. Our oceans are full of terrifying creatures, most of which we haven't even discovered yet. But
that comment right there. Most of which we have yet to discover. I'm telling y'all.
One we have discovered and also know is extinct is the Liopleurodon. And this beast was far more terrifying than any namby-pamby megalodon. Liopleurodons were marine reptiles that existed during the Jurassic period. They had short necks, huge teeth at the front of their mouths, and a body length of around 20 feet. Previously, they were thought to be about 85 feet long. The first fossil was discovered in 1873, and that, plus others, shed light on what they were like. These marine reptiles had short necks, smooth teeth, and could weigh up to 10 tons. They were the apex predator of the time and lived on smaller marine reptiles.
You know what 10 tons mean? It means once it gets hold of you, ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can begin to even do about it.
Squid, and fish. They were also exceptionally fast swimmers, with long, flat flippers that would propel them through the water. Their forward-facing nostrils make scientists believe they also had an incredible sense of smell, which meant that they could track down prey from significant distances away. But because they had no gills, they had to come up for air, just as whales need to. Liopleurodons may not be as large as some existing sea creatures today, but they were sure a lot scarier than a lot of them. Number 9. Dunkleosteus. Many of us hear the word fish and it doesn't fill us with fear. Battered fish, fried fish, fish fillets, fish fingers, they should be more afraid of us. But if you lived during the late Devonian period of around 358 to 382 million years ago, we'd be singing a different tune. Because that was when the 20-foot-long, 1-ton Dunkleosteus was alive. And he wasn't a very nice fish.
Believe it or not, this is normal behavior. The Dunkleosteus isn't being sick.
The Dunkleosteus was once considered one of the fiercest fish of the time, and he lived in subtropical waters around what is now known as Ohio. He would chow down on sharks as if they were mincemeat, and he even had self-sharpening jawbones. The thick, bony plates, huge skull, and 2 sets of fang-like teeth were the thing of nightmares.
Well, like he just eats you. Anybody else feel like like he just eats you and puke you back up? Just eating you for fun, then throw you right back up.
And they weren't just for looks either. The force behind the Dunkleosteus's bite was incredible. Their bite force was around 1,349 pounds at the tip and 1,664 pounds at the blade edge. Even scarier was knowing that they were around in large numbers. This fish used to live around North America, Morocco, Belgium, and Poland. While we believe them to be extinct, how can we actually prove that? Number 8. Stetha.
That's what I keep saying, bro. When they be saying, "Oh, stuff is extinct," But how can you prove it if you haven't even researched, you know what I'm saying, every part of the ocean? It's impossible to just say something is extinct. And am I the only person that feels that way? It just gets me every time you say that.
Acanthus. Not everything scary in the ocean and more terrifying than the Megalodon had to be giant. Sometimes, as we know from insects like mosquitoes, they can be small and equally as horrible. The Stethacanthus is an example of that.
The Stethacanthus had a shark-like head appearance.
Sure, this extinct shark-like creature from the holocephalian family was only 3 feet long and about 20 pounds, but it was awful. If you were to compare it to anything, it would be like an annoying little sibling, but with murderous intent. They lived during the late Devonian to late Carboniferous epoch and were extinct around 289.9 million years ago. Good riddance. So why do we dislike the Stethacanthus so much? Well, they were a menace to sharks, fish, and everything in their path. They would eat anything and everything, even if they weren't hungry, and scientists spent a long time trying to work out their anatomy. The male Stethacanthus had a strange ironing board-like feature on its back that had a rough surface and no real use. It was finally worked out that it acted as a docking mechanism for attaching to females for mating. So not only were they annoying to every other fish in the ocean, but to scientists who were baffled for so many years too. Number 7. Fang-tooth fish. We don't even need to begin describing the fang-tooth fish for you to understand why it's scarier than the Megalodon. For one, it's not extinct. We don't have to fear the Megalodon, but we do have to fear the fang-tooth fish.
A truly amazing fish of the deep sea.
Sure.
No, it's not. It's not it don't look amazing.
This little critter's only 7 inches long, but that doesn't mean it won't try and eat you if it's given a chance. It well and truly lives up to its name. It has long, pointed teeth, and it uses them to catch and hang on to prey, regardless of their size. You could be next, human. Fortunately, fang-tooth fish are deep-sea predators, so they most commonly live around 16,000 feet below the ocean surface. As long as you're not there, you're okay. Still, don't get too comfortable, for the fang-tooth fish gets snackish. It's not uncommon to see them a little closer to the surface. They are far more active than other deep-sea fish and follow crustaceans into shallow waters. They don't sit and wait to ambush their dinner. Instead, they are active hunters, and vicious with it too. These solid brown or black fish with teeth that are far too big for their mouths are well worth steering clear of. Number 6. Bobbit worm. We'd like to say that we're not afraid of worms. After all, they're worms and not really that frightening. But we can't say that about the bobbit worm. And the more you learn about them, the more terrified you'll become. Trust us. Bobbit worms are a type of bristle worm that lives in the Atlantic Ocean and parts of the Indo-Pacific Ocean. While you might be lucky enough to come across one that's only 4 inches long, you may also be very unlucky to spot one at 10 feet long. There is no set size for these weird wormies. To look at them, they don't look scary, but neither do toddlers, and then you see them throwing a tantrum and think otherwise. Bobbit worms burrow into the ocean floor and become ambush predators. They wait until they can sense prey nearby with their sensor antenna, then they strike. They have razor-sharp teeth and quick instincts. They also have mandibles that are so fast and strong they can—
Fam, that fish looks like it's like 2 times its size. And he's still taking them.
literally rip prey in half. A fish is considered lucky if it's not ripped in half, because if it survives the initial attack, then it's dragged into the burrow to become dinner, and not before it's injected with toxins. We'd recommend not—
And it breaks your body down. It's gonna hit you with toxins and break your body. Yo.
not getting too close to the bobbit worm, for you might regret it. Number 5. Arthropleura. Imagine a millipede. Aw, so cute and little, so innocent, so not at all terrifying. Then imagine that millipede at 8.2 feet long. Arthropleura, which is Greek for jointed ribs, is a now extinct type of millipede that used to exist around 345 to 295 million years ago. It lived around the area of Scotland and northeastern North America and became extinct around the Permian period. It preferred to live in forest environments and was one of the largest species of the millipede arthropod family. Okay, so it's not a sea monster, but that doesn't mean it's not worth talking about. Scientists believe that while it lived on land, it could also travel underwater. It may have even returned to rivers and lakes to molt its shell and grow a new one. Fortunately for us, even if this millipede were around today, we'd be unlikely to be bothered by it. They were herbivores.
See, that's the kind of type of information I love to hear. Don't want nothing to be, doesn't even want to be bothered with humans. Perfect. It's what I love to hear. That's the type of information that makes me feel good.
And scientists don't believe they have powerful mouth parts for chewing meat. Still, that doesn't mean that they weren't terrifying to look at. Imagine having an 8-foot millipede scuttling up to you. Number 4. Kronosaurus. Being a scientist must be very exciting. One minute you're typing away on a keyboard and the next you're discovering the fossils of an extinct species. The Kronosaurus was a short-necked pliosaur that lived during the early Cretaceous period. It was considered one of the largest of its kind and could grow up to 36 feet. The first ever fossil finding of the Kronosaurus was in 1899 when a Queensland, Australia man found a piece of bone with 6 conical teeth in 1899. A quarter of a century later, it was officially given the title of a new species. A partial discovery was made in the same location in 1929. As more and more pieces were found, the puzzle was starting to be put together. The Kronosaurus was a marine reptile with 4 flippers, a short tail, short neck, and elongated head. It had lots of long and sharp teeth, and it weighed around 12.1 tons. The skull alone could even measure up to 9.4 feet long. This monster also didn't hold back with its menu preferences. It would dine on turtles and plesiosaurs, and it also enjoyed giant squid from time to time. There's no doubt that if it were around today, we would be on the menu as well. Number 3. Helveticosaurus. There's a lot that we don't know about the extinct marine reptile called Helveticosaurus. The terrifying part is, what we do know leads to questions that this reptile could have been far scarier than we first thought. They existed during the Middle Triassic period in the southern parts of Switzerland. The information we have on this reptile comes from a nearly complete holotype, which consists of several pieces of its skeleton. We know they had teeth, so that's a start. We also know that they were about 8 feet long from their snout to their tail. Many of their features look like they had been adapted for marine life. Their flexible tail looks like that of the similar thalattosaurs, and it may have used this to propel itself through the water.
I was just thinking that, like, speed. That tail probably gave it, like, tremendous speed, fam. Like, imagine that coming through the water like a missile at you. It's too late by then.
In saying that, it would have also used its forelimbs and particularly robust pectoral girdle, which are quite strange for aquatic reptiles. Most marine reptiles also have a long, slender head, but the Helveticosaurus didn't. Its box-like head may have made a difference in how it ate. While we don't know everything about the Helveticosaurus, we can only imagine that we wouldn't have been its friend. Number 2. The Dumbo Octopus. The Dumbo Octopus is not a name you would give to a man-eating creature, and you'd be right. This octopode is not more dangerous than the Megalodon, but it's undoubtedly as scary looking as one. They are generally quite small, at around 12 inches, but they can grow up to around 6 feet. But if you're wondering why you've never seen one before, well, that's because they live around 13,000 feet below the ocean surface. The Dumbo octopus never tends to look the same either. It can camouflage itself to suit its environment, and this can protect it from becoming something else's snack. Their diet is reasonably modest, so you can rest rest assured that we're not on the menu. Instead, they eat snails, worms, and pretty much anything they can suck up from the ocean's floor. Watching the Dumbo octopus swim is quite mesmerizing, and definitely not at all scary.
Look, that's beautiful.
There are no Jaws film scenes here, guys. They flap their fins to cause a jet propulsion in the process, and their arm webbing gives them a bit of extra speed. So while they're not as angry as a Megalodon, they're definitely far less attractive than one. Number 1. The Frilled Shark. We think that the frilled shark missed the memo about going extinct, because even though this prehistoric creature looks like it should be gone with the dinosaurs, it is very much alive. We're not sure how we feel about that.
Yes, it is real and it's not something out of a horror movie.
They are long, cylindrical sharks that grow up
I thought it had something in his mouth. No, that was it.
to around 7 feet long. They live in the open ocean, but spend most of their time far below the ocean's surface. They are vicious, active predators and will easily swallow their large prey whole. Fortunately for us, the frilled shark prefers squid, but we don't think we'd like to put that theory to the test. Their several rows of teeth with long points are particularly useful for stabbing through soft flesh. Even though the frilled shark is, of course, a shark, it tends to look more eel-like than others. It also moves with stealth and has
That's not regular. That's a mutant, bro. That's a mutant.
a serpentine-like style of swimming that's definitely more eel than great white. So, as scary as the Megalodon is, at least it's extinct. Who knows how long we're gonna have to put up with the frilled shark for? We weren't wrong, were we? There really are sea monsters out there that are scarier than the Megalodon ever was. Isn't it crazy to...
Some of these were crazy. Some of these were definitely something that you don't want to run into while you're in the water. But Megalodon, like I said, that snake at the beginning is up there for me. That snake is probably the close I got on here to saying, scarier as the Megalodon, but not more than the Megalodon. No, it's not. None of these were. I take my Meg, bro. The Meg. Go watch the movie again. Go watch the movie The Meg, and then holler at me about it. Telling you, they can miss me with all that. Y'all get at me though in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Leave a like, share the video, and subscribe. 15 Sea Monsters. Are they really scarier than Megalodon? Let me know. Till the next reaction, man. I'm out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.